Okay. Alright, I'm gonna rotate the camera real quick. Alright. I don't have The Sims 3. Just for various reasons I never got a hold of it. I'm doing this video because I'm gonna talk about the stuff going on with and let me load it up for a second. Come on. Load correctly. I hate when it loads like halfway. Sorry. Just waiting for this to load. Huh. Oh, it doesn't want to load correctly. Okay. Oh. Now, alright, now that it's loaded properly, I'm going to talk to you about boom, Sims 4. Okay? And then I'm just going to scroll down the page here, scroll down. And what I'm scrolling through right now is EA's official website for The Sims 4. Okay? Now, okay. With that up, if you'll permit me for a second, I'm just going to switch the TV over to HDMI 3 real quick. Because yeah, that's the channel setting I have it on for when I do videos off the PC. And in case you're wondering how I do that, DVI to HDMI cable. Alright. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to talk about all the stuff going on with The Sims 4. And the internet is great for many, many things. Well, one of the downsides of the internet is that it has become a great tool for what I like to call the complaint train. Yeah. And I don't know what you're aware of, but okay. There won't be toddlers in Sims 4 when it releases in September. There won't be pools when Sims 4 releases in September. Or creative style when Sims 4 releases in September. And those are just the things I know about. There could be other stuff. But here's the thing you got that a lot of the internet people don't realize, and especially ones who don't really have any understanding. And a lot of, I would say 95% of the people who are making complaints about Sims 4, I would say 95% of them have absolutely no idea what computer programming is, how hard it is, and how much of a time-consuming process it is. And also, you got to take into account the fact that the code itself, the actual code of the game, which is called source code, you start with the first line of code, you get to the last line of code, and all of that has to work correctly in sequence. When it has brain farts, that's when you get the stuff like the bugs, the glitches, and game crashes. And that's just not games, that's programs in general. I mean, most people don't realize the average program, on average, a program has 1 million lines of code. On average. You're talking something like The Sims 4 you're talking 15, 20, maybe 25 million lines of code. And when I'm talking code, I'm talking about the programming that makes everything on the screen you see. Everything. The clothes, the colors, how the houses look, how the ground looks, the weather system, what the horses do in Sims 3, what the objects do, what the objects look like, how the objects animate. All of that has to be programmed, and all of that programming has to operate in sequence. And when it doesn't, that's when you get the bugs, that's when you get the glitches, and that's when you get the crashes. And I'm not going to say that EA is being an evil corporation this time because, I mean, come on. It's been proven already that EA at times can be a little stupid. And not only that, but they can just be downright idiots and morons when it comes to not only marketing decisions, but just the games they do in general. I mean, no company is going to be without some bumps in the road. It's just, I mean, come on. Any company is going to have periods where they are absolutely at the top of their game, and then they're going to have periods where they just have to creatively have kind of a rebirth, if you will. So, but more to the point, I don't think that EA is trying to do anything evil or anything, you know, shady or anything. I mean, you got to take into account the original release window of Sims 4 was Q1 2014. And for those of you who don't know what that means January to April of this year. Obviously, if it's now slated for Q3, which would be August, which would be July, August, September, and Q4 would be October, November, December. If it's now slated for late Q3, which would be anytime in the month of September, obviously something happened along those lines that made it so that they were going to meet their original release window. And look, that happens all the time in games, okay? Don't think that it's, you know, they don't want to release a game, which is why a game gets delayed. No. If you got 25 million lines of code in a game and you've got any problems with those lines of code while you're making it, then, you know, glitches and bugs, you know, those I can understand some passing through because, you know, the Q&A people will get the developer and say, this is happening. The programmers would say, well, this is happening, and the programmer says, well, does it really affect the gameplay? Does it make anything really major happen? And does it have any other issues with the game? And if the Q&A people says, no, it's just this weird thing that happens and it doesn't really have any major impact on the rest of the game, the programmers will probably just tell them, okay, noted in the log, and if we have time, we will take care of it. Whereas this stuff, the major bugs, the major crash things, those are what gets fixed first. The minor stuff, you know, as far as programs are concerned, that's the stuff that, you know, you may see in release versions of the games because, you know, at the time of the development process, they just didn't think it was that major a thing. And when you have games programming like that, you know, sometimes you just have to make decisions on what actually gets put in and what actually gets taken out. I would bet you anything that the content we are going to get when The Sims 4 actually release, I don't bet you anything, they probably cut out during the development process 3 to 4 times as much content as will actually be in the quote-unquote release version. As as they say. And them not having pools in, not having creative style, not having toddlers in, these may be decisions that are being done because somebody in EA went to the game director of Sims 4 and said, we already pushed this back once, give me a realistic idea of if we can have this released in 2014. And that person said to the executive, said, well, if we cut A, B, C, D, E, and G, E, F, and G, we can have it ready in August, and we can have a release candidate, as the final edition is known as, before it gets actually greenlit for release. It's called a release candidate. They may have said, okay, we can have a release candidate ready at the end of August if we don't put this stuff in. But if we put this stuff in, it could be 2015 before the release candidate is ready. Because you guys gotta, what the internet people don't realize is that for everything to work correctly, it's gotta be programmed. The sequence has to work, and it has to, and the testers have to test each piece of content as it's added into what's called the game build during development. Each piece has to be tested and tested that it works correctly with the existing pieces of the game build before they move on to putting in new stuff. And when you're talking about pools and toddlers and having to test every single animation for every single type, fat person, skinny person, tall person, short person, black person, white person, Asian looking person, Hispanic looking person, person with red hair, person with blue hair, person with the default swimming outfit, person with formal swimming outfit. That all takes time, and it could just simply be right now that the decision was made to cut that content out of the possible release candidate so they can have the game finished by September, whereas if they put the stuff in, it could be 2015. They were already originally planning to have it released in March or April of this year, and they already had to push it back to September because of testing issues, from what I heard. Were testing issues and what they're calling the beta build. So this could boil down to be nothing more than the fact that they cut this content because it would just be too time consuming to program it in, test it, retest it if it doesn't test properly the first time, and they may just be saying, well, guess what? We got to cut the content because it would take an additional 6 to 8 weeks to put that content in and properly test it. And by doing that, it would push the possible release window into 2015. And I would be surprised if someone at Electronic Arts just told the game director, cut the content, it has to be out in 2014. And come on, as anybody who is a Sims fan like me, and you've already seen how much of the Sims 2 stuff I have. I don't have Apartment Life, and I'm missing the mansions. I'm missing 2 stuff packs. But you've already seen with the Sims, anything EA does with the Sims prints money. It's effectively a money tree for EA. Yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if we get vanilla Sims 4 without the toddlers, without the pools, without the creative style, because they simply wanted it done. They wanted the release candidate done in August so they could get it greenlit by early September and get it out to the factory, you know, the place where they print all the where the release candidate is copied and copied and copied and copied and copied and shipped to stores. And I mean, you got to remember too. I would hope that Creative Style doesn't get put in. PC went to sleep. Sorry about that. I personally, as a Sims fan, I have never been a fan of Creative Style, and what you have seen from The Sims and Creative Style in the past is that Creative Style, at least to me, Creative Style seems to be nothing more than a glorified resource hog. I mean, let me take this off for a second, okay? And I gotta do this real quick. Okay. That's my computer. Now, granted, it's probably 5 to 6 years old, but I've got 6 gigs of RAM in here, and I've got a 2.8 gigahertz processor, and I've got an ATI, I think it's a Radeon 3500 in here. And I'm pretty sure that it's because of Creative Style that, let me zoom in right here. I'm pretty sure it's because of Creative Style that those Sims, that those packages, all of my Sims 2 stuff, I'm pretty sure that in the past it's because of Creative Sim that I've had Sims 2 lag. I've had it lag. I've had frame rate problems. I've had, you know, choppiness, not only with the audio, but with the actual animations themselves. So, I mean, Creative Style is a good thing, but I would rather they not have that in the default Sims 4 release version. I would like them to, like they did with the original Sims a while back, release a standalone thing. They had a wallpaper generator for The Sims, and they had a thing where you could take images, make them wallpaper, make them tile, make them paintings. I would like to see Creative Style be something along those lines. Something separate from The Sims 4 that you can use and have it be that you do all this stuff in that, and then you can then import it all into The Sims 4 instead of it being part of The Sims 4. Because like I showed you, I'm pretty sure that because of Creative Style, that Sims 2 has been choppy. There's been audio problems, there's been animation problems, and even at times it's just like, why is the frame rate, why is this being slow? Well, probably Creative Style. Now, as for the pools and the toddlers, I'm not too beat up that they're not going to be in Vanilla Sims 4, because what happened with Sims 3? Oh, we're going to do Generations Pack, and what did it have? Toddlers. And it had toddlers. It had children. It had teenagers. You know. So I could see down the line that there be, and this is something Quill18 said, and I do agree with him on that. I could see EA releasing an expansion pack down the line that's outdoor themed stuff that includes swimming pools, along with other things like, you know, maybe lawn darts, shuffleboard, horseshoes, volleyball, all kinds of things. Like an outdoor theme pack, and swimming pools are in that. Same with the toddlers. There could be like a Sims 4 Generations pack, you know? Because, I mean, that's the thing with EA is Sims 4 prints money for them. There's no question about that. They release, and what they're good about is releasing expansion packs like every 3 to 4 months. What they're bad about is the stuff packs. Those, I would much rather the stuff packs not be full retail release boxes. I would much rather the stuff packs be like digital download stuff. You know, like this in Sims 3, the 70s, 80s, and 90s stuff. I would have been more happy to have that released as 3 separate packs. 70s stuff, 80s stuff, and a 90s stuff pack that you could just pay a price for which one you wanted instead of having to have all of them together, because I've seen the pictures for the 70s stuff content. I don't like it. The 80s stuff is okay, the 90s stuff is kind of meh. And I mean, so, you know, I mean, that's the problem with the stuff packs. The stuff packs just have been absolute shit a lot of times. But, you know, that's just me. But I mean, that's the thing for me is I don't see this as EA being, oh my god, evil EA, they're taking content out. They're going to make our game nothing. It's going to be a $40 release and there's going to be no content. No. Okay? The wine machine on the internet is in full force on this one. And a lot of them are talking out of their ass. As far as I'm concerned. Because it's like I said, this could simply be nothing more than EA making the decision that this stuff needs to be taken out so that the game can make its September release window. I don't see that as anything more than that. Because it's what I already told you. A game like The Sims 4, you're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 million lines of code. And to program swimming pools in, to program toddlers in, to program creative style in, you could be talking about an additional 10 to 15 million lines of code that has to all work properly, has to be tested to make sure that it's running and not causing any problems with the existing content. And that process could take months. And it could just this could just simply be EA saying, we want this game to be released in September, so that content's gotta go. So, all of you who are on the complaint train and the wine machine on the internet, please stop talking out of your ass and actually think about some of these things before you start going, oh my god, EA's taking all the content out. What are they doing to my game? And that's another thing. The my game shit on the internet, okay? First and foremost, it's not your game, okay? Okay? Under the terms of most end user license agreements, you are purchasing a license to play that game. The game and all its rights and intellectual property content, they belong to Electronic Arts. You do not own the game, okay? So this, what are they doing to my game shit? Shut the fuck up. You are purchasing the game, and you are, by buying the game, you are purchasing a license to use the game. That's it, okay? That's why it's called a user license agreement. That is essentially what you are doing. You are purchasing a license to operate the product. Nothing more, nothing less. You do not own the product. The product is not yours. It is owned by EA. You are simply buying a license to use the product. Period. So this shit of they're fucking up my game, that's gotta stop. It is not your game. EA owns the rights to the game. Period. And why do you think that there's also terms of use or terms of service or things that you have to agree to along well? That is also another thing of with license agreements is you are essentially agreeing to a set of, this is what we are outlining as how this product is to be used. This is the service terms that you are agreeing to. And these are the terms under which we will assist you if there are issues with your product. That's really what the terms of service is. Okay? So, this shit of they're fucking up my game, shut up. It's not your game. EA owns the rights. Period. Okay? So, alright? We cool? Alright? We good? So, I'm probably gonna ignite a flamestorm in my comments section by uploading this, but I don't care. Again, as far as I'm concerned, this is nothing more than EA saying we need to get this game released in September, and if that means that we have to cut this content, so be it. Okay? And as far as the my game shit, shut up. You, by purchasing the game, are purchasing a license to use the product. Period. Okay? EA owns the rights to the game. You do not own anything more than a license to use the game, which EA has the legal right to revoke if you violate the terms of your user license agreement. Okay? Alright, so that's going to be the end of that. And I may post another opinion video later on. I'm thinking, putting together my thoughts on the current state of the video gaming industry now that we're a month out from E3. So yeah. Well, that's everything, I guess. So, I will see you all for the next opinion piece.